Just put the child to bed. We always like to take the time, don't we? I'm a little nervous. I've never announced a live before, so here I am. It's asking me to share into my group. That's a new one. I'm not sure it's ever done that before. So, the reason I got into tarot, it started from a really young age. I was into like spirits, like and all that lot. I grew up in a family that talked about spirit a lot, that could easily connect with spirit and all that. And I always wanted to be able to talk to them, and I didn't realise back then that I was connected at all. It was in my teenage years that I got a magazine. It was an astrology magazine. I can't remember what it was called. And in there, it came with a set of tarot cards. I don't have the tarot cards now. They were based off the Rider-Waite tarot, and they came as I ended up with the full deck. Eventually, as you collect them, you got a few cards, and it was I started off doing my birth chart, astrology birth chart, learning about the tarot, and then I put them down and never picked them back. Didn't pick them back up again for years. Then my son was born, and I bought my own tarot deck after I was given one by my mum, because she said at the time that you couldn't buy your own tarot deck, which is a myth, by the way. That's a myth. You can buy your own deck. Actually, if you are drawn to tarot or oracle cards, for that matter, the best thing for you to do is to choose your own. If you're gifted one, that's great. If you're gifted one, that deck is meant for you. But the best thing to do is to choose one that you are drawn to choose, that you feel that you like the look of, that that's how I chose all my decks. I chose my decks because I liked the look of them, because I was drawn to them, because I felt a connection with them even through the screen. And that's the reason why I chose each of my decks, because I felt a connection to them. And then I've got loads more on my bookshelf. And it was in 2010-ish, 11-ish, that I was reading cards for myself, tarot in particular, back then. And I started reading for family and friends. And though that was my main introduction to tarot, but I couldn't read them intuitively back then like I can now. And that's me, like, not reading the book, just using the cards and tuning into spirit, tuning into how my body feels, and different psychic gifts, really, and really taking what my thoughts are, any visions I'm getting, as well as the meanings of the cards, all into taking them all into consideration when I'm reading cards for people. And that's including in my membership group as well. Whenever I'm reading cards, that's how I read them. And that was never something I learned to do back when I first started. And then again, motherhood got in the way, and I put them down, and I didn't pick them back up again for a while. But I picked up oracle cards back in 2016, back when I was in the network marketing industry. I'm not in the network marketing industry anymore, but I used to be. And I picked up oracle cards again. I was reading, notification. I was reading oracle cards for myself, just as a daily guidance and all that lot. And I pulled cards for myself. And I'll say I'll pull you one now if you like, just do it general for anybody who might be watching now or anybody that's watching in the future. The angels. What do the collective watching this video now or in the future need to know? What do they need to know right now? What do the collective need to know? Obviously, I'm a bit nervous doing this live, but it flew across. So the cards that came up now, considering I'm nervous as well, the cards that came up for you, for anybody watching now or in the future, were these two. So we've got boundaries and leap. So the leap card reminds me of the Fool card in Tarot, where it says leap. It says that it wants you to take that leap of faith. Take that leap of faith towards your dreams, towards your goals, towards what it is you want to achieve. Because when you do, the universe will catch you. They want you to take that leap first, that first step, that first little action step. And then the universe will catch you and it'll give you more guidance, more support and everything else as you go. And to just trust in the universe, trust in your intuition as well. But you need to also learn to establish better boundaries. That there's people outside of you, the energies outside of you that are stopping you from progressing how you want to progress. They want you to learn to establish better boundaries, to figure out what your boundaries are, I'm hearing, and really learn to follow through with them boundaries, stick to your boundaries. It's important that you stick to your boundaries, especially as you're moving forward, because people will be trying to, they may be trying to stop you, they might be trying to get your attention, they might be the case of establishing boundaries and learning to say no when people ask you to do something. Will you just do, seeing as you're at home, will you just do this for me, take me here? If you're planning on working that day, for instance, it might be that you just want to say no. But sometimes we turn around and we'll say, yes, okay, I'll do that. But really what you really want to do is say, no, I can't. I'm working that day. And when we're working from home in particular, we can end up doing things for everybody else and ignoring our boundaries and ignoring the things that we really need to do. So it was basically stuff like that I used to read for myself. And it's got better over the time. It was 2 years ago in December actually, that I started to read the cards intuitively. I'd been getting nudges all along, and night nudges for me intuition, nudges, and you might find that yourself, that you might find that you have nudges, intuitive nudges, ideas for things, ideas for things you want to create, things you want to do, things that sometimes you might not even realize where they're coming from. And those intuitive nudges are things that you really need to follow. And those are what I learned to follow. I'd ignored them for a while about reading tarot. I've seen other people doing it. My friend started doing it at one point, and from the moment I saw her reading these cards, and I had the first nudge was like, I need to do that myself. And I was like, but at first it was hard to understand whether it was my intuition kicking in or whether it was a case of shiny ball syndrome, shiny object syndrome, where you jump in to thing after thing. And that can be because you're not trusting in yourself, partly, But for me, the reason why I knew it was my intuition eventually is because when I started reading them, I started reading them from like general on YouTube, pick a card readings, and then I started selling readings and doing them for other people, and it just felt right. I could feel it in here, in my heart chakra, my solar plexus. I felt it inside. I knew without a shadow of a doubt that I needed to be carrying on doing this, that this was part of my life purpose, that this was something that I was meant to do. And that's continued to this day, 2 years later, and it hasn't stopped. And I'm learning about it all the time. I get new insights coming in. My psychic gifts are improving. The way I'm reading cards are improving. And the more I did it, the more connected I felt, the more in line with it I felt, and the better I felt for it. That it just felt right. And if something just feels right, if it feels right and you know it's right, deep down inside, and the passion is there for it, and you can't wait to do it, it's something that you are meant to be doing. And that is why I started reading tarot, and that is why I carry on doing that, because it's part of my life purpose, because it's part of something that I've been drawn to do for many years. You don't have to be drawn to do it for many years. It could be something that you've just started doing, or you've just started a new business, or you've just started a new hobby that you might look at and think, where did that inspiration come from to do that? But when you start doing it and you start feeling into that, you start feeling into yourself and your own intuition, you might find that that's something that you want to explore further. Mm-hmm. And when you explore it further, you will find that it just starts to feel right if it's meant to be. And yeah, when I first started reading, I couldn't shuffle. I couldn't shuffle for the life of me. You know, when you see people shuffling like that, I couldn't do it. I used to sit there and I used to go like that. And that was how I first started shuffling cards. I didn't know how to shuffle properly like I do now. And I didn't know a lot of the stuff when I first started that I do now. So if you've got, just to end this live, if you've got a nudge to do something, if you've got an idea that you want to follow, if you've got something that you really want to do, you keep getting the nudges and the ideas to do it, follow that guidance, follow that nudge, and just see where it's going to take you. You don't have to decide straight away that, yes, this is going to be a business for me. Yes, this is something I need to pursue for the rest of my life. Just give it, whatever it is, give it a shot and just see where it's going to take you, because you never know. So yeah, that is why I started. Excuse me. I always do that when spirit are trying to talk through me. So that is why I started reading tarot. So yeah, I hope you found that insightful and I give you some useful information. And I will try to do more live readings on the page for you as well. So if you would like that, of course. And I will be back soon. Bye. Hope you have the most amazing night.